Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We've had a interruption internet. We don't know what's going on at this time. Please forgive me.
This service is provided in high definition by freeconferencecallhd.com. There are 4 participants in the conference. The recording has started. Please announce yourself.
Russell.
Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. For some reason, we went offline for a good 20 minutes. For some reason, the cable company decided they were out here screwing around. What else is new?
Okay.
So
recording?
So we weren't on air for a good 20 minutes.
Well, wow.
That's why I hate. And don't get me wrong, ladies and gentlemen. I don't normally say this, but that's why I don't like charter.
Well, yeah, I imagine there's a herd of people that normally listen to the show that's not out there now. So, I'm still enjoying it.
So anyhow, didn't mean to interrupt anybody. Go ahead and go back to what you're doing. It doesn't make a difference because it's recording anyhow. So just post up later. I'll just go to 8:30 tonight. How's that grab everybody?
There you go. Awesome. Well, so Mitch and I named this road where the footprint kind of led Russell Way, and it went out into the back of the box canyon that Mitch and I usually search and call the Hut Zone from the other direction. So we had always wanted to do this part of the mountain. And Judd and I got his ATVs. We found where the road used to come out to the actual highway. And I use the term highway, that's because it's got a route number. But it's really not what anyone would call a highway. It's a 1 or 2 lane road at most. And, sometimes it's just 1 lane where you have to pull over for people going the other way. And then most of the way it's 1 lane each direction, 2 lanes total. But, so we found a road that led to this area. We took the ATVs up. It's no more than a path now. We got in there pretty good ways. And then there was a bunch of deadfall, mysteriously, across the road. We cleared some of it, went a little further, then we got to some deadfall, and we just decided to see, before we cleared the road, how far the road went. So we ended up hiking. And we hiked in, we ended up going far where it wasn't worth going back for the ATVs. So we kept hiking, beautiful up there. Rock Canyon, southern side of the Arches, facing Lake Roosevelt, facing Globe, and we hiked a little ways. We found another road that led to a mine. This whole area is full of uranium mines and copper mines, as you might remember Mitch and I talking about. Mm-hmm. And we ended up finding 3 new mines, all open. Because they didn't really think anybody could get in there. It's not a normal kind of hiking area. It's really rough terrain. And so we skipped the first one. It was that kind of uphill to our left. We wanted to get to our right to get into the box canyon. We kept going. We got to this sheer cliff face where it looked like maybe the road had gone through one time, but it was gone. And it was only about, like I said, 18 inches wide for about 60 or 80 feet, maybe even a little longer.
Wow.
And Judd and I just walked across that. It sounds a little more dangerous than it really was, but I guess it was kind of dangerous and a little foolish, but we did it. We stepped over the cactus in the middle. Funny story about that coming back. And then we hiked a little further on. The road went down and it went up. It forked. And we went down first, and we found a copper mine in there, or a uranium mine. Old. Probably still had plenty of minerals in it. Just not enough for the miners to make money. The company, probably plenty for a single couple of people to make money. this one had water coming out of it. So it was almost like the mine itself, the shaft, was a little bit of a river. It had, because it was spring, it had, snow melt coming out of it, pretty heavy for, 6, 8, 10 inches. Nothing we couldn't walk through. But we didn't go in more than 20 feet. We got some nice video and some nice pictures of it. They're, I believe, available on my YouTube site. And I think if you Google Alex Herney, ZCRO YouTube, it'll get into that site.
Now,
we went a little further on and came to this beautiful box canyon, sheer mountain face, 200-300 feet high, with a couple of what looked like caves way up high. And I don't think they really were very deep caves. They were like little indentations. And we heard some wild screeching of birds. And it turned out to be a falcon's den. And there was a pair of falcons in there with a bunch of babies. And of course, they were, the face of the cliff went up 200-300 feet. But the falcons were only up maybe 100 feet. And they were up there and they were just mad that we were so close. And, we didn't go any closer than that, but we did stand there and take in what we were seeing. It was beautiful, once in a lifetime experience. And then these two peregrine falcons, they decided to come out and investigate us. And and we got video of this. I don't know how good you can see it, but you can definitely see and hear the bird. But they flew, kind of buzzed us. And I guess they realized that we were no harm. And they buzzed us maybe a dozen times, the pair of them. And then they went way up in the updrafts, the thermals, and they started diving. And they just put on a show for us that was amazing. I mean, they would go from diving at us a couple thousand feet up, and then they would just turn straight down, like a peregrine falcon is known to do. Yeah. Go into one of their dives. And it was really like they were, they knew that we weren't there to harm them, and they were just putting on a show for us. So Jet and I both filmed. Oh, it was amazing, and we filmed it with our cell phones. I do have a video. The video with my cell phone was not very usable. They were just too tiny in the video. But we did get a decent video with Jed's iPhone. Yeah. So I think that's the one that's on my YouTube page. But you can sort of see the falcon. It's just a speck or a dot, but you can hear it because it would go. You got to remember these are the fastest animals on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they go into the dive, and they just did that for us. Maybe a half hour, 45 minutes or longer. So we watched that. We had our lunch, a couple of beers, and then we hiked back to our ATVs and such. But we want to go further into that canyon. And that, was basically the road that Mitch and I coined Russell Way. Or, actually, I don't think Mitch was with me. I think I coined it Russell Way. But,
I didn't know. But, going back to the other, like I said, I had thought about, had he left any equipment out, and, you went up there with him a bunch of times, so you would kind of know the areas where he would, put cameras out. Maybe it might be worth going up and looking, man. The cameras could have been hanging on trees up there for 2 years.
And you get into the same exact area that you put the camera in, and you still have to hunt for it. Mitch lost so much equipment, I don't actually understand how, because even with Mitch, we'll hike into the area, we know where the cameras are, and it takes us a long time to find them, even though we're the ones that put them out. So,
yeah, that happened to me here.
Yeah, we didn't put them in, very close to the roads or anything like that. So,
he always put them up. He always put them up higher than trees too, didn't he?
Yeah, Mitch would use spikes. We had the pole climbing spikes that we'd put on our shoes and would climb up the tree and put them up very high up because they were getting bothered by people and, maybe creatures.
Right.
And then he would camouflage them if he could. So it would be a pretty daunting task, but it's probably worth a try. But, the thing is, Mitch was exploring newer areas, and he had a lot of people going with him, and he would take them to the areas that me and him agreed not to show anyone. We showed a few people our initial areas, and it just turned into a horror show. You might remember people trying to basically disturb our research. So
right.
So we wouldn't show people, even people that think they were Mitch's best friends, weren't shown the actual area we call the hot zone. The area that we wanted to explore by horseback, is 2 or 3 day trip if you don't have horses. And even with horses, it's probably going to be a day or two through the thickets. But
right.
We've never ever shown anyone that area. We haven't been there ourselves yet. Why would we show someone else where it is?
Oh, that's true.
And
I know the type of terrain you're talking about.
Now, what part of Arizona was this at?
It's near Young.
Where?
Near Young. The Sierra Hunches near Young.
Never heard of that part.
Near Young. Yeah, near Young, Arizona.
Young is in central Arizona, pretty much dead central. 26 miles or so north of the back of Lake Roosevelt. Halfway, or not even halfway, about a third of the way from Globe, heading towards Payson, directly to the mountain.
That was a part of the rim country, right?
Well, sort of. You're about 70 miles below the rim where Travis Walton was when he had his incident.
Yeah, when he was talking about that mountain range, when he said how the mountain range was and everything else, it gave me the thought of what the Chocolate and the Trigos mountain range looks like along the Colorado River. And I'll tell you what, that ain't easy mountain climbing either.
No, it's really hard. You need a rock climbing equipment to climb where Judd and I were any further.
Oh, yeah, and the thing is, if you're into that stuff, Arizona's the place to do it, because even over in the Mattazell, when we was up there, we were tooling back through the forest, and we come up on this cliff, just like you're talking about, and that we were kind of like higher up where you were looking down, but you could just see the whole, the rock wall. It was like a mile or so of what it looked like. So, yeah, Arizona's the place to go do that stuff.
Right. So, anyways, that's the story for there. Mitch and I wanted to do a little more exploring. Judd and I where we were that day would come around the back of the hut zone, come in from a different direction, but eventually you'd have to get up and over this mountain to do it. We were thinking as you got through this box canyon on the other side, it might open up and there'd be a valley to get through, to get into what, where Mitch and I would call the hut zone. The Murphy Ranch area. And it's another thing up there is it's elk country. There's probably some mountain sheep up there. There's definitely black bear. I know Larry, the guy who has found the toenail.
Yeah, I noticed that on your Facebook page that somebody mentioned to me here, what was it, last week or the week before that, Jan, that supposedly, I guess, Alex had a toenail or found a toenail or something.
Yeah, Larry, both. Steve, you don't know the story of the toenail?
I remember the story of the toenail on Tom's show, but I think I don't really want to get into that part because something about you two bickering over it or it's something I don't want to get into. That's the past, but
Yeah.
all I know is Roger said something to me about, I guess you had a toenail or something. I don't know.
Yeah, nothing to do with Tom. Tom, we don't need to get into that part of it.
Yeah.
But Larry, a good friend of mine now, kind of almost like a dad to me, found this toenail. He called us up, and we went and got the toenail. And basically, Larry and I submitted the toenail to Melba Ketchum's DNA study, where it basically became one of the standout samples in that study. That one of the samples that JC submitted, and then of course the controversial hunk of meat flesh from Justin Smega.
Mm.
But the toenail is the one piece of evidence that exists still after the testing. Not sure what happened to Justin Smega's hunk of flesh. That was plenty big enough to make it through the testing, but that's not for me to comment on.
Right.
Some controversy on whether it was real or not. The toenail, though, was found up in Ashford, Seligman. Larry had done a lot of hunting in the area that Mitch and I searched, which is a long way from where the toenail was found. And but he shot 26 bear in that area. But the toenail itself went through DNA testing, and has been proven to be, 99% human, and then a tiny little bit of a percentage of something else, and basically that's the DNA signature of Bigfoot. And
they were saying that was a bear, but do you think that was the government trying to mar it up? I mean, seriously, because Justin Smeha, he passed the lie detector test in front of everybody.
Well, Justin changed his story multiple times. He came on my radio and said one thing. The next time we talked to him, he said another. And I think he changed his story basically because he had to. But here's what he admitted. He was bear hunting, and I don't think Justin will mind me saying this, because if you go to the iTunes records of my show and Jeff Stewart's show, The Crypto Zoo, which should be over on Live Paranormal still.
Mm-hmm.
You could probably get to the archives and hear Justin say it for himself, but he was, whether it was a bear or Bigfoot, he was poaching.
Huh.
Because his permit was basically for the left side of the rig. The road split the zones.
Right.
His tag was for the zone on the left. They saw what they thought was a bear at first in the zone on the right. Justin and his buddy got out of the vehicle. You're allowed to drive the roads there. It's not illegal to drive a vehicle while you're hunting. So that wasn't a problem. But what he saw was on the right-hand side of the road in the opposite zone. And, first he wasn't going to shoot at it, and then, something inside him made him shoot at it. And when he shot at it, it was coming at him on two legs. It was standing up and it was waving its hands like, don't shoot. And the reason is that there was two cubs there, or two babies, with it. And it was just trying to say, don't shoot. And I don't know, maybe Justin, who knows what's going on through somebody's minds. Maybe he was in fear.
Mm-hmm.
But, I try to gloss it over. But he shot at this thing. And he hit it. He's a very good shot. He hit it, it howled, and it ran the other way. The two babies ran off too. Justin and his buddy went up there in the area that he shot it and tried to find the blood trail and such. Can't remember if around all crazy and stuff. They were uphill of him, and he said they looked like baby bears, but they didn't. And one of them was above him on the hill, and again, maybe he feared for his life. And I'm not sure, because I'm sure baby bears are hurt pretty good. But he shot that too. And the thing rolled down the hill, basically right at his feet. And that's how he got the blood on his boots that you may remember.
Wow.
The story goes. Him and Bart Kudno, I think, had the shoes tested. And they came back that it wasn't Bigfoot blood, I believe. But again, you need to go to Bart and Justin for that, or the Olympic Project was in on it. But so what they did was, now they're scared. Maybe they shot a baby bear. Maybe they shot a bear they shouldn't have in a location they shouldn't have. They left it by a tree and they left. They went back to home and started wondering what they had just seen and done. And got in touch with the Olympic Project guys from the Olympic Project. Asked them to take them out the area. They did. It was a few weeks later. A good deal of snow had fallen. As best they could, they found the small body. And under the snow, Justin and whoever was with him took a couple of hunks off it with their game knives. And they brought that back to be tested. Well, Justin readily admitted he's not even sure that came from the same creature that he shot. And, I don't know if it's for legal reasons he didn't want to, with conviction, say it was the creature he shot or what. But they had that tested. And the results were conflicting. The results with Melba matched the samples that JC and I sent in. The results with the testing from Oxford showed as bear. But I think that Oxford testing was a sabotage project, possibly by the government, just like you said, to take away credibility from Melba. So the initial testing showed bear, and the follow-up testing done at Oxford showed bear. The initial testing showed 99% human, and a slight percentage, not a full 1% either. Just a few strands of DNA different than human, exactly as the toenail showed. And I'll tell you, one thing you can definitely prove by looking at the toenail is it didn't come from a bear. It may have come from a full-fledged human, or it may have come from a Bigfoot, but it didn't come from a bear. It's a human-looking toenail. It's not a claw. And Larry's story is pretty unique. He heard something come out of the woods, come to his trailer. Melba Ketchum's sharing links right now on Facebook, by the way. Not sure what they're about. I'm on Mitch's Movie on Monster page.
Right, and
I just approved Steve's post for his show.
Not to cut in or anything else, but I know what you mean about a bear toenail, because actually a bear toenail, if you can imagine what a Brazil nut looks like. A Brazil nut almost in a way looks like a bear toenail. It doesn't look nothing like a human toenail at all. And what you have doesn't look like a bear toenail that I've ever seen.
Or a Brazil nut, right?
Right. But I do have in my possession a bear toenail, and I'll tell you what, the toenail I have is about maybe 6 inches in length, and about maybe not even quarter of an inch thick.
6 inches, that's going to be a great
Gotcha.
So.
Gotcha. Very cool. Very cool.
So yeah, I can actually say that, that toenail on your page is no bear toenail. There's no way.
Yeah, no, it doesn't test out as a bear. Now here's the thing. All of these samples were in the auction study were supposed to be double vested. That means they tested them before they sent them to grind sites. So I'm not sure how they could all come out to be known animals. You know, if they were known animals, that means that the vetting wasn't done very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Melba tested all her samples, then had double verified by 2 different other labs to match her samples, and anything that came back controversial or not matching what she had got, she didn't necessarily use in the study.
Right.
So all her samples were double blind tested plus tested by her.
Mm.
So as far as I know. So,
and you know,
any
Jen has people, and I think Jen might want to mention something about it, about some people he knows that actually do a DNA testing for these creatures.
Yeah, that's still on the table, but it's a guy that joined the team a while back. He's got some contacts that lead to these 3 scientists, and they're well-known scientists, but they won't give me the names. He's like, once the DNA is done on it, and they give you the letter of authenticity on the results, that you'll know who the doctor was that done it, because he'll sign it. But it's on the table. They're wanting Bigfoot stuff, and they're doing the testing for free.
But they won't give out their names.
They're not giving out their names publicly because they don't want every nutcase in the planet getting in touch with them and bugging them. I mean, I can understand that.
Yeah, look at the video. Look at the video that we all. Jan, tell me about that video we saw on YouTube with that guy holding up.
It leads to credibility, Jan, and if you're not gonna come out all the way, then you lose credibility. It's just the way it is.
Right.
But I don't blame them for not wanting to give their name out, because look what happened to Melba. But if they want to do some credible research, they give their name out and people set them in samples. Nobody's going to send in a sample that goes through you, it goes through somebody else, and then maybe goes to a scientist, because the samples are all too valuable to give up in that manner. So,
yeah, and I understand that there has to be a super trust issue there, and this is what I even told him. I'm like, don't expect anything. I can put it out there, but don't expect anything, because people are not going to turn that stuff over to me, to get to you to pass on to these guys.
Yep.
And there's plenty of people we can send samples to that are willing to give their name. So I'm not sure why anybody would do that.
And you got to just be careful out there, because you could be a very credible researcher, the best, and as soon as you get linked up with an idiot like Rick Dyer or Todd Stevens,
oh Lord, yeah, oh yeah, that's true.
You're in the dumps.
Matter of fact,
or you could get hooked up with someone like Brian Pike, who's up to prove everything is fake, and mainstream science doesn't want to believe this, and they're going to prove that you're an idiot and a crazy person, and their whole job was to disprove Melba Ketchum, and everybody involved in that study. So,
well, we know the reason too, because once they prove this to exist, and eventually it's going to come to light. But when they do, they're going to have to go back and totally rewrite the history books. And they don't want to do. They don't want to do this. You know, you got to figure out where it fits. If you believe in the theory of evolution, of which I don't, but it being the case, they got to go back and figure out where this fits in that line.
Since we're going a little long, do you want to hear what is my newest avenue or theory or avenue that I'm working on? And I'm working on it with a pretty big name in the field, someone who does video work, if that'll give you an idea. And we have a new saying: the new red is green. And here's what's going on. It ties into a little bit of everything. This could be why they have eye shine when they shouldn't have eye shine. This could be why they have, eye shine that's actually maybe glowing eyes. This could be why that they can sustain themselves without enough food in the area for an animal to sustain itself, possibly just through light. This could be why it leads into maybe the government already knowing about these creatures, which is probably more likely than not likely if you do enough research. This could be a tie to Melba Ketchum's study. And let's go into Melba Ketchum's study. That little bit of a percentage, less than 1%, way less, that's not human, and it even has ties to the movie The Thing, and whoever wrote that story. We won't get into that, but that little piece of DNA that's not human DNA, that's not primate DNA, that's not animal DNA, is unlike any other DNA ever found in a living mammal on the planet. And basically, won't get into it, but too technical. But what the two theories are is, one, since it doesn't match anything on the planet, it has to be maybe from another planet. So it could be alien, or it could be from another
species
level of existence, so maybe angelic. And both of those theories sound wild, but yet they're kind of the only thing that would explain them.
right.
Well, this goes into the new red is green. Many times when people find what they think is Bigfoot blood, it has a oily green sheen to it. People that have touched this blood have gotten really, really, really sick. They've got incredible infections that sometimes take a very long time to heal. They've gotten sick, incredible viruses that take a long time to heal. Well, and that's another thing. This DNA that's different is more like what's found in a virus or a plant or a virus. Now it kind of all makes sense. The blood has green sheen to it. If you look up a certain story from the...
Are you saying green sheen?
Green sheen. A sheen of green.
They oil that away. It's like Hollywood gives these hints away, with Predator. But they didn't give the whole away. If they would have had Chewbacca doing the same thing that Predator was doing, would have had it in a nutshell.
Maybe. Exactly. If it's alien, maybe that's possible, right? Well, there's a story, and you can look this up. I'm going to make you do some work to look it up. It's the way I kind of work. Everybody knows this. I'm not going to give you all the answers. You got to do a little work. Don't believe what I say. Do the research and come to your own conclusion. But there's a story of an Oregon military base, Air Force and Army military base, or Army base that had Air Force on it, or vice versa. And these guys go out on maneuvers. They take a bunch of trucks out, and one of the trucks dies. And whole troop goes back to the base. They leave one person with the truck. He sits there all night. Now, everybody knows that when Bigfoot's around, mechanical things go haywire, so this could be why the truck didn't start. That night, he's sitting by the truck by himself. He's looking from a couple hundred yards away. Good military marksman. He gets up, takes a couple shots at it, and it runs off into the woods. Terrified, he gets back into the truck. I'm making this as quick as possible. The next morning, the military mechanics show up to fix the truck, and he's terrified. He tells them what happened. They go out in the field in that direction. They find blood. He hit what he was shooting at. The blood has this oily green substance mixed in with a green sheen. They fix the truck. The mechanics tell the base his story. The base sends all these people out, with kind of biohazard type gear. They collect some of this blood. Get back to the base there. This is a documented story. I think you can probably look it up. It's on maybe Bigfoot.
Yeah, we talked about it, I think, a couple of months ago on this show about it.
Yeah.
Yep. So they take him to a room and he's interviewed and questioned by Air Force personnel. Then he's sworn to secrecy. He leaves the Air Force interview. One of these scientists that are testing the data come up to him and they say, "Are you so-and-so?" And he says, "Yeah." And he says, "We just want to tell you we're testing what you found. And, we believe you." And somewhere in this story, he walks by, or the lab person tells him about the military having all this blood with a green sheen to it.
Mm.
The idea, I guess, is that it's alien, according to them. It's with what is implied.
Right.
And the green sheen could be chlorophyll. It's kind of a glow-in-the-dark kind of green sheen, hence the eye shine.
Yeah, I know what chlorophyll is.
And chlorophyll, of course, reacts with sun, photosynthesis.
So.
Would kind of explain how these creatures can get so big in areas that people think have very little food to sustain them. Maybe they actually get energy from the sun. It would also explain maybe why they don't come out at night more often. Maybe they, kind of sun themselves during the day and recuperate and then come out at night. All theories. Some would say wild, some would say educated. That's what I'm working on right now, and the new red is green.
Isn't chlorophyll also found in, what do you call that stuff that's in the creeks, and sometimes you can find it in the rivers and stuff too? Algae?
Yeah, it's in plant life.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Plant life. Yep, it's green. It's in plant life. It's how plants, survive. They need light to survive. Even algae, plants in water, need light. Yeah.
Because I know there's some people out there that there's been cases where people have tried to eat algae and it didn't agree with their system very good and they almost died from it. But yet, when an animal or a different type of creature eats the algae, it's a totally different story. It's like they can survive off of that where we can't.
Right. And that leads to where people have gotten sick by touching this substance. It, must have a chemical signature that just doesn't agree with humans, possibly. And that makes you even wonder again, how could this get mixed with a creature that's 99% human and that creature survives?
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of the other stories is one of the other theories is that these are the Nephilim, and cursed by God to roam the earth and never touch, never contact humans. And I guess that could be too. A lot of people think they're Gigantopithecus, but if you DNA test Gigantopithecus, it's not going to come back 99% human.
Yeah, I don't think they're anything to do with Gigantopithecus.
No.
Exactly. They're a human species, and they're intelligent, and possibly a DNA engineered human species.
Well, even if you go to where you say they're alien origin, well, just look at the intelligence of the creature itself. It's out popped Dutch for how long? Yeah, we got the best technology on the planet. And it outfoxes us at every turn. At every turn it outfoxes us.
It makes you think, doesn't it?
It does. It really does, Well, and Steve, and I've had the thought for a couple of years now that they possibly dimension walk.
Well, I've had a lot of people tell me, and even Native Americans, I swear, the Native Americans up here, the Pomos and the some lady I know that lives over on the Hoopa Reservation, she tells me that they can actually shapeshift from one dimension to another. I've never seen it myself, but I'm not going to say it doesn't.
Well, they disappear pretty quick. Here's something to think about. Mitch has done a lot of research in the same area. He died, of course, but I say Mitch to give my buddy as much credibility as possible. But we've done a lot of research. I've had sightings. We've had activity. We found footprints in the very same areas that Travis Walton had his abduction episode.
Right.
Another thing is Mitch and I had numerous UFO sightings, one of which we filmed, which made it on TV, made it on, Coast to Coast, Dreamland, Kevin Smith's show.
Yeah, I've heard of Dreamland.
Rest in soul, rest in peace, Kevin. A very controversial film of the missile launch that Mitch and I filmed. Well, we were coming back from doing a Fox 10 News story on Bigfoot in our research. And that, if we went out to the north and came home, we'd go right past Travis Walton's area. We'd go to the south, come through Globe, Superior, Arizona.
Yeah, I know where Globe's at.
And we see this missile launch, and we film the missile launch, and then 42 seconds into my video, you see a UFO cross the path of the missile launch.
Yep.
That day, Mitch and I saw numerous lights in the sky that we didn't film coming out of these launches, basically in the same area where Judd and I filmed the Falcon. Some of the people that have tried to intellectually plagiarize Mitch and I's research in that area, we'll be friendly to them. We don't like what they do, or I certainly don't like what they do. Mitch didn't either, but we've talked to them, and one of the stories from one of these ladies was of some UFO activity in the very area Mitch and I got our first report up there in the first big footprint that we got. So it's unique to, this is probably the hottest area in Arizona for Bigfoot activity by far, because we've had more activity there between me and Mitch than all the other people in Arizona combined.
And Globe's not even that far away from Quartzsite either, and I've seen a lot of strange things in Quartzsite.
Yeah. Well, on your Facebook page, it lists you as still living in Quartzsite, but you don't. You're in California now, right?
Right. but I got family that lived in Quartzsite, and I think it was like back in 1989 when I was leaving Arizona, coming back up through Quartzsite. I stayed in Quartzsite out in the middle of the desert for about a year. And one night I looked outside. I thought I saw a comet at first, but then a comet doesn't turn red and blue and everything else going towards the west. And when it supposedly hit, it made this weird looking blue, like hewn type whatever glow, and then it just slowly went down, something like you would see on a movie or something like that. And I thought to myself, there's no way that was a meteor.
I've had a couple of experiences with large meteors like that. One of them was when I was in Phoenix. I was on the phone at night with Melba and just hung up with her. It was just before daylight. It was still dark, probably 3 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And a large meteor went overhead, and then there was a flash, like the whole area lit up. And then, I'm walking around wondering what the heck that was, and it did it again.
Right.
And then about 2 years later, I was up in Cave Creek staying at Judd's home, and the same exact thing happened. I was up. We had a beautiful outside area there, and I was just up, and to get why, I probably went to bed early, woke up early. So I was up about 3 in the morning. It was dark out. Same exact situation. A large flashing meteor type thing went by. Then, I assume when it hit the ground, it flashed and lit up the whole area. Well, then come to find out, that meteor was actually documented as landing north of the Phoenix, Cave Creek, and Scottsdale area.
Right.
By any number of miles. But I'll tell you what, when it hit the ground shook like an earthquake. It was a huge meteor.
Right.
And the flash was like that of a the flash of an atomic bomb or something like that.
Right.
Obviously not quite that strong, or more people would have woke up, but it was enough that it flashed for a good 50 miles away or more.
Right. And not to get off the subject of Bigfoot or anything else, but I think my last incident, or I should say my first incident before I saw that, me and 2 other guys were out on the, I don't know if you know where Picacho Mining District is at in California, right across from the Arizona, where the Colorado River's at, but there's a dirt road you drive all the way up past there. It takes you to what they call the Picacho camp range or whatever it is. Me and 2 other guys were camped out there one night. We were laying on the ground looking up at the stars. Across the river on the other side of the Chocolate Mountain Ranges, or the Tree Ghosts I should say, you have what they call YPG. And as we were looking up into the heavens, there's looks like a horseshoe type star shape, or a bunch of stars that look like a horseshoe, and this weird object comes out of this horseshoe type. I call it the gamma system. That's what they call it now. It came straight down, stopped, just floated there, and then it made a straight, look like an L turn. And I looked at my buddies and I said, you know something? There's no way in hell that's anything that we have. And so my friend goes, well, we got one of those, what was it, 1 million, I think it was a 1 million candlelight power light or something, a spotlight. So I'm taking it, I'm putting it up in the air, and I'm flickering it. I guess the thing saw us, and it took off like a bat out of hell. And I looked at them, I thought, we ain't never going to discuss this with nobody, because nobody'd even believe us.
Yep. Well, you just discussed it.
Yeah, I did now, but that was like 89. No, I take it back. It wasn't 89. It was in 80. It was 84, I believe, because we were searching all over the Tree Ghost mountain ranges looking for a certain lost treasure.
Well, I'm very close to that area now. I'm in Goodyear, so I'm about as close as you can get to that area and still be in civilization. I'm joking, but
civilized.
Steve, have everybody Google my website, my YouTube stuff, and they can see most of what we were talking about tonight.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm gonna let you guys go. I've done too much talking here for you. I'll let you guys finish off the show. And thank you for having me on.
Well, it's always a pleasure to have you on. I've known Alex since, I'm not going to mention other names, but I've known Alex for a couple of years, maybe more. I've talked to Mitch a few times, and when I found out what happened to Mitch, my heart sank because I loved Mitch a lot. I mean, there was no other lovable person out there that I know of than Mitch. Mitch did a lot of great things.
That's true.
And me and Christopher, sometime in a month, was it a month or maybe a month and a half, we're going to be going up to a canyon area called, what is that place called again, Chris? Where the hot springs are at?
We'll be going up there where there's Devil's Canyons. There's two Devil's Canyons. There's one Devil's Creek. So there's two Devil's Mountains, two Devil's Canyons. There's a big Devil's Canyon and a little Devil's Canyon.
And we had a lot of activity up in there too. I think it was last year, didn't we?
Oh yeah, yeah. With the way the winter went this year, with the winter, I believe that we'll probably, who knows, man. I mean, I'll tell you, there's going to be a lot of rattlesnakes out with the way that we had the amount of water, because they breed on the, on the availability, and there's going to be all kinds of stuff out there.
Well, I'll take my gun. That's no problem there.
Put some snake shot in that.
You wonder where these names came from. Did they have, in years past, did they have experiences with the creature we know as Bigfoot and thought it was a devil and called these areas Devil Canyon?
Yeah.
All the natives call them, their translations basically mean creek devil, river devil, mountain devil, and incidents that they're always around. A lot of times they're in areas where there's sulfur springs, which there also is where we're going.
Yeah, and to tell you something else there, Alex, the place we went to is the same place on the Pitt River that was mentioned somewhere back during the 70s and the 80s.
Well, Steve, make sure you post on Mitch's website, the one that I'm taking care of for him,
Okay.
Monster, Arizona's Bigfoot, the podcast or the link to this so people can take a look at it. And if you would, please post it on my Facebook page, too.
No problem.
Mitch's Facebook page, my Facebook page. Since people didn't get to listen, we'll just give them a link to listen to the recorded version. And feel free to post it on my AZCRO Facebook page, too.
No problem.
And maybe we can start some discussions about it, get some people on the show, give you a little boost.
Maybe we can all go out and make a movie, too.
Hey, I'm always game for that, and Jeff Gurneau has plenty of equipment, and he's always game for something like that too. So,
next one, held up the documentary.
Yeah, Jeff helps me run the Mogollon Monster website for Mitch, and we both kind of take care of it, approve posts, approve or disapprove.
I was wondering if anybody was still doing anything with that site.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I just kind of take care of it. I don't post on it all too much. If people post all advertising stuff, I delete it. If people post good posts, I let them stay.
And tell Jeff I said hi.
Yep, I will.
Oh, yeah, for me too. For me too.
I will, Janet. Jeff,
Have you had any run-ins with that Mogollon Monster? I've been curious about that, just because it's, I'm only California, Oregon, Washington for the most part.
I've seen him twice, face to face, 20 feet. Once was with Mitch, and once was with on the Indian reservation up by McNary. I've had other, encounters, but those are the two that I'd say were the most definite. So, have me on again, and I'll talk about that. Hey, what you guys need to be talking about for the next 10 minutes or so is Steve's great picture. Steve, you got to get some comparison photos before I'll be able to tell what's there.
Yeah.
You got to get some comparison photos from the exact same spot you took the picture.
You talking about on the mountain?
Yep. You need to go up on that mountain, get a close-up of that area. You need to take a picture from that area of where you were filming. You need to take some pictures of different times of the day. Jan will tell you the comparison photos that, basically I would say they have to go with any photo before you can say it's credible or not.
Right.
I noted that.
Well, when I was up there, I smelt this weird stench, and I know what a skunk smells like, but this was worse than a skunk. It was kind of mixed between wet dog hair and something dead. I couldn't figure out what it was. It wasn't no snakes out there, because we all know that snakes put out a dead smell. And it was it had too much snow up there and everything else, and there weren't no snakes up there where the snow's at. And when I walked up there, I heard this ruffling noise. When I looked up, this thing just froze, and I thought, oh, damn it. So I took my regular glasses off, and I have these video glasses. Jan's got a pair of them too, by the way. And I put these regular sunglasses on. They have the cam in the middle of them. Well, I didn't have enough room to take video, but I had enough room to take a few snapshots. And as I'm looking up at this thing, trying to take a picture, 2 pictures didn't come out right. The last picture came out perfect, so I snapped what I could, brought it home, and I went through them. And I'll tell you what, when I looked up at it, you could see it move and then freeze. I'm like, oh, crap, I have it.
Well, you got to get the comparison photos.
I got to get my cam emptied out so I can... I got to take the cam and empty it out so I can take next time a video.
There you go. You got to get those comparison photos. I don't know if you can get to that area again or not, but that's what you got to do.
Yeah, I'll get to it.
He did go back, and he did take a couple of more pictures after that, and that's what I told him. He needed comparison pictures to show that it's not there.
See, the last time I went up there...
He wasn't in the same exact spot, though.
No, I went back to the same exact spot, and they had a bunch of people up there and everything else hiking, and I thought, I don't want to, and I didn't want to say anything, so I just veered off and got as close to a different side of the mountain as I could and take the picture.
Gotcha. Well, you'll have to get up there again.
Yep, plan to.
You got to go back up there at nighttime.
Oh, hell with that. I'm not gonna freeze my butt off. We're talking about this summer, me and my neighbors around here, we're talking about, we're only going to have maybe about 2 months worth of summer, because the rest, we're not going to have a very hot summer at all with all this rain and stuff we've been having.
Let's spare yourself a peanut butter and go up there one night.
Sounds cool with me.
Yeah. They'll keep you warm.
Yeah, the bears and the cougars.
Well, I didn't say what was going to come out.
I'll take Chris up there with me.
You go tie the peanut butter jar to my sleeping bag and
You know what? Stick the sardines at the peanut butter on.
Well, it's bad of me. This is terrible of me, but I did that. Well, we were in high school. We had an opportunity to get extra credits by doing a summer hike up to Mount Whitney, and there was some kid that the whole way up he was riding our butts, and he kept snitching to the counselor that somebody, I think somebody had brought a little flask of I think it was either Southern Comfort or Yukon Jack, and so we were teenagers, so we were all sprung that we had that little bottle we were going to take up when we finally got settled in and go get a buzz on, and all of a sudden they're like, okay, who's got the Yukon Jack? And so we were just like, how'd that happen? There was only one other guy who knew about it, and we figured it out that he went and snitched. And so that night I remember taking stuff out of his backpack, and I put about a 5-pound boulder in his backpack and then packed all his gear on top of that, and then I put sardine juice on his sleeping bag, and he was getting messed with all night long. telling that Boulder, oh man, he about pissed his pants. He's looking around. Who did this? He was pissed, boy, he was pissed. But yeah, just brought back a memory with that.
Yep.
Yeah, shame on me.
Yeah,
I don't do
well,
that kind of stuff no more.
Kids are kids.
That's the truth.
Well, one last time for the Giants.
Yeah. Anyhow, glad y'all came on tonight, and I'll post whatever it is on the shows, because we lost the connection earlier, but hopefully next week.
Yeah, you might want to put a notation that the first 20 minutes of the show was dead.
Right. And somebody else called in?
Oh, that was just me. I called back in. I logged out by accident.
All right. Anyhow, catch y'all next week. Have a good night tonight, and we all know what the saying goes.
Oh, yeah. Keep on Bigfoot.
Alive.
Yeah.
Have a good weekend, y'all.
You too. Catch you soon. Have you on again.
Yeah, have a good weekend, everybody.
Yeah, I'll do the same.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Gentle Giant, and this is the Bigfoot Radio for this week. And we would like you all to tune in next week for some more Bigfoot Radio. And all of us on the Bigfoot Radio Network, we would also like to thank our guests for joining in on the discussion tonight on this talk show. And we would also like to thank you, our listeners, for sharing our adventures with us. Join us again next Friday evening for another exciting hour of Bigfoot Radio with the Bigfoot research teams from across the country. And we would also especially like to thank our listeners. Until then, this is the Gentle Giant saying good night, be good, be safe, and we will see you here again next week. Until then, keep Bigfoot alive and keep Bigfooting. See you all again next week. Bye-bye, and have a nice night. Good night, John.
And to all the listeners out there, we won't have a show next week. Next week I'm taking a week off to do some more Bigfoot research. So it'll be the 27th or 28th. I think it'll be the 28th.
Copy that. Amen to that.
This session is no longer being recorded.